All right, let's look at heat shrink connectors. These are called butt joint connectors or whatever. Instead of doing a traditional, twist two wires together, solder them, and then put heat shrink over them, these connectors, this is by Histronica, they have a ring in them that's solder, and when you heat this with a heat gun, that solder will melt. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but there's a lot of things. The first thing is sizing them properly. If the wire barely fits inside the connector, then you're using a butt connector that's too small. So, for example, on this connector right here, I can get the white connectors to just barely fit. You don't want to do that because the heat shrink, as it shrinks, is going to shrink and it could crack. And also there's not really enough solder in there. So don't just put the smallest one that will fit. What you're going to do is inside you're going to try and get these wires to intertwine as much as possible. I'm doing it outside just to show you right now, but you want these to be really intertwined, something like that. You don't want them to just be right next to each other inside of the connector, because that won't be a good solder job. Now, one thing I like to do is use a no-flux solder paste, no clean flux paste. This is going to basically be an acid etchant, and it's going to make the solder joint better. It helps the solder to reflow into the actual copper. Typically, when you're at a point where you're using these shrink butt connectors, it's on existing work. That copper is going to be old and tired, and it might have some impurities on it. So what I did is I just put flux on one side. You don't need to do both sides because you're going to push those wires together. And then I pushed the copper over. I pushed it a little bit too far so that I can see what I'm doing. And then you want to get these guys again to line up. A lot of times you can twist the wires one way or the other. At the end of the day, you want to push these together and then line this ring up over it. Now, a lot of people from here will just try and hit this with a heat gun, do all kinds of fancy work or whatever. It's never going to work. What you need is a trusty piece of cardboard here, and you're going to slide the cardboard underneath. This guards all the other connectors, and you also want to make sure that these wires are pushing together a little bit. If they're pulling away, then when you heat this up, they're going to just separate. And then what I'm going to do is, this cardboard is a heat shield. It's going to be a reflector, and it's going to reflect the heat back on the back side of this. So notice with my heat gun here, I'm not moving it around at all. I'm literally holding it in one spot, right in the middle, and as soon as I see that copper start to wet, which is right about now, see it's wetting? I'll move it just to get these ends, like that. That's it, guys. This takes a while to cool because the heat shrink is a very good thermal as well as electrical insulator. So give it a second. If you're in a hurry, you can blow on it. If you're not in a hurry, just find the next wire. Now, of course, the recommendation is usually going to be to replace the wire harness. This car is unique, and it is, in my opinion, worth repairing the existing wire harness. But typically, I mean, the amount of labor this is going to take, these heat shrink connectors, especially if you've never used them before, can take a minute to learn how to use properly. If you do find that you're burning the heat shrink or you're getting blowback, a lot of times if you overheat it, the solder will actually reflow all the way through the copper wire, and then it will poke out of the insulation here if this is a low temperature wire. Now in cars, it's never going to be an issue. Cars always use 105C rated wire. But you'll find 70, 60, or even unrated temperature wire, and in that case you can definitely melt the insulation, so you have to be very careful with the heat. I just want to reiterate again, you don't want to just kind of be walking around willy-nilly trying to get that heat to evenly flow. You're trying to get that heat in one concentrated point to get that solder ring to collapse. As soon as that solder ring collapses, that heat's going to flow immediately through there. If you start moving around everywhere, it's a lot of extra work, one, but two, you're never going to get enough heat, and then the connectors just kind of melt. You're going to finally have so much heat in there when it does start to melt. So that's kind of my take on heat shrink connectors. Now I just have to figure out why this harness has 6 blue-red wires, which is really annoying. Honda sometimes does silly things, but that's a different day, different story. I use the Histronica, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, heat shrink connectors. A lot of the connectors nowadays, because they're so generic, are really crappy. The Histronica ones are very good. They are more expensive. I think this package of 650 or thereabouts, what is it, 290, 390 for, so it's actually 480 pieces. I want to say that was like 45 bucks or something. If you buy cheaper ones, you're going to just have a cheaper time. It's really going to suck. And again, I do recommend this No Clean Flux. If you don't use this, it's totally fine. There's probably flux in the solder rings there, but I just find that the No Clean Flux makes everything happier. Do make sure it is No Clean Flux, because there's no way to clean the flux out of here, and that flux it's just tree sap. But the non-No Clean, so the traditional version of it, will sit there and just oxidize the hell out of the copper, and that reaction basically won't stop until the copper's gone. So don't use flux paste unless it's No Clean. It's a little bit milder. Yep, that's enough rambling for now. That's how you use the Histronica Shrink Fit butt connectors.